When processing and dealing with the reality of narcissism, it's quite normal to wonder if maybe somehow the narcissist can change. Maybe somehow there's some hope for this relationship. Maybe somehow this can be fixed. Maybe if the narcissist can see and understand the error of his or her ways, there's something that can be done about this. So it's perfectly normal and natural to wonder if the narcissist can change. In this video, I'm going to both answer the question of whether or not a narcissist can change and also help you walk through what this question actually means and help you kind of think through the reality of what you may actually be wondering. Welcome to Looking Behind the Mirror, where we explore narcissism and take our lives back as we make sense out of nonsense. As a quick disclaimer, everything I say is based on my opinions and my personal experiences. I'm not a professional, and if you're really struggling, I encourage you to seek professional help. I am providing links below for you. So when we ask this question, can a narcissist change? I think we first need to ask ourselves what exactly we mean by this, because the answer to the question can differ depending on exactly what it is we're wondering. There are things that narcissists can change, and there are things that they cannot change, and there are things that they typically won't change. So first, the things that narcissists can change, narcissists can change their behavior. They do have control over their actions. If they want to treat people better, they're perfectly capable of doing so. They are still accountable for the choices that they make. They are adults and they are capable of rational thought, as hard as that may be to believe. They are capable of making better choices. They are also capable of developing a deeper understanding of themselves. Narcissists, in my opinion, exist on a spectrum of self-awareness. Some of them are completely unaware of the way they are. They have no conscious awareness of the way that they're actually treating people, how incredibly cruel and unfair and unreasonable and irrational they are. And some of them are completely 100% aware, completely calculating, cold calculating, totally understand the damage that they're doing to other people and still choose to live that way. I believe that narcissists are capable of moving along the spectrum, and if they want to, or if things hit them the right way, they're able to develop better self-awareness. So with that being said, you might have a little bit of hope. You might think, oh good, well they can change their behavior, they're capable of that, but not so fast. The odds of any of this happening, the odds of any of these changes that they are capable of making are very slim to none, especially if it's something that you're hoping for or that you're asking them for. And I'm now going to go over the reasons that these changes are so unlikely. And a big part of the reason that these changes are so unlikely is because of the things that they can't change. Narcissists cannot change the way that they see the world. They can't change the lens that they see reality through. They can't change the way that they react to things, the way they interpret things, the way they feel about things. Just as you really can't change the way that you feel about things, narcissists can't change the way that they feel about things, as unreasonable and as irrational as their emotions are. Narcissists can't really connect with people in a meaningful way. They could learn how to stop being so exploitive and manipulative. They could learn to stop devaluing people, but they still really couldn't learn to make a real meaningful connection. A pathological narcissist just really isn't emotionally capable of connecting with another human being. And to them, manipulation is really a substitution for connection. Manipulation is a substitution for actually having a reciprocal relationship where you just do things for each other because you care about each other. Narcissists don't really care about anybody, so they have to manipulate people. They have to pretend to care or otherwise somehow convince you to do the things that they want you to do, because they can't really do it in a quote normal way where you're just doing things for each other because you care, because they don't care. So even if they learn to treat people better, the way that they treat people is still going to come from a contrived, inauthentic place. They're still, in a sense, going to be manipulating people because that truly is all they know how to do. Narcissists also cannot trust people. They are incapable of trusting other people, and a large reason for this is they can't be trusted. They know themselves, and they project their own motives and their own way of thinking and operating onto other people. They really, I don't think, could ever learn how to really trust other people. So in a world where we really have to trust some people in order to function, they can't really do that. They have to fake it, they have to pretend, and a lot of their relationships get destroyed because sooner or later the people they're with realize that the narcissist doesn't actually trust them when they start getting accused of things that they didn't do, or just treated as if they're up to something, up to no good, treated in a way they don't deserve to be treated. Narcissists are also incapable of caring about other people. You really can't force yourself to care about something that you just don't care about, and narcissists just don't care. They don't care if they hurt other people's feelings. They don't care about other people's welfare. They don't care about other people being hurt or how things are affecting other people. They don't care. And as awful as it is, this really isn't something that they can just suddenly start caring about. They could start acting like they care. They could start acting like a decent human being. But again, this is going to come from an inauthentic place, which in my opinion is better than nothing at all. But they really can't make themselves care. So I think it's important to remember this when we're hoping or wondering if the narcissist in our life can somehow change. Yeah, it's very remotely possible, like maybe 1 in a million, that they might learn how to change their behavior. But even on the off chance that that happens, they still won't really care about you. Another thing that narcissists cannot change that's really important to understand is their motives. Narcissists cannot change the things that are important to them, the things that motivate them. You may notice, or you may have learned the hard way, that when you try to explain to a narcissist how much they have hurt you, how much damage they've done to your relationship or to other people, they are not motivated by that. They don't care. That is not a good enough reason for them to change or give things up. It's not a motivation. So what does motivate them? Power, control, relevance, supply, where they're getting reassurance that they are all these things they imagine that they are. These are the things that motivate a narcissist. These are the things that they may learn to change for. But they're already operating in the best way they know how to achieve these motives, to get these things that they actually care about. Narcissists are not motivated by other people's pain. They're not motivated by the idea of being nice to people, of doing things that are good for other people, because they just don't care. They're not motivated by that. They are not motivated by love or by the things that you value in the relationship. These are not things that are worth changing for them. And that can be really hard to accept when you had a lot of really strong feelings, when this relationship was really important to you, when it meant the world to you. The things that are important to you and the things that you may be grieving a loss for are not the things that the narcissist cares about or probably even recognizes. So these are not the things that a narcissist is willing to change for. To reiterate, narcissists want power, control, and relevance. They don't care about love, and they don't want your help. I have a couple analogies that I want to share that might help you think of the perspective of a narcissist that's being asked to change, to become a quote normal person. Remember that narcissists have a completely different perspective. They do not think the way you do. They are not motivated by the things you're motivated by. They don't see things the way you do. Their lens, the filter they see the world through, is completely backwards. They think nothing like you do. So to understand what it would be like for a narcissist being expected to operate in a more normal way. Imagine that you lived in a world where people were trying to convince you to sit in the middle of a busy road with a blindfold on. Just imagine that. Imagine that that was a normal thing to do and that people thought something was wrong with you for not wanting to sit in the middle of the road with a blindfold on. How threatening that would feel, how crazy it would feel, and the lack of trust that you would probably feel sitting in the middle of a busy road. That's pretty much how narcissists feel when people try to suggest to them that they should give people a chance, because narcissists already know that you're up to no good, that you're eventually going to turn on them, that everybody's going to betray them, that they've got to look out for everybody because everything is a threat. Of course, the difference is if you were asked to sit in the middle of a busy road with a blindfold on, you truly would be in great danger. And of course, the narcissist is imagining a lot of the threats that he or she is under. But as far as perspective goes, there is no difference because this is the narcissist's reality. That is how they see the world, and that's how they feel. And who's going to convince them otherwise? You? You're one of the speeding cars that's zooming around them. They don't trust you. They're not going to listen to you. The only thing they trust are those irrational emotions that they're feeling all the time. So they're not going to change based on what you're trying to convince them because they think you're trying to trick them. Another analogy that might help you understand what a narcissist feels like when being asked to change is imagine that you live in a world where robbery is legal, where people can break into your house and steal your TV. And imagine that that happens. Somebody breaks in your house and you're sitting there watching TV and they just take it and run outside and put it in their truck and drive away. And you try to call the police, but they're like, well, it's perfectly legal. What? Stop complaining. Just go buy another TV. What's wrong with you? Imagine living in a world where people can just steal your stuff and you're supposed to be okay with that. You're not only supposed to put up with it and allow it to happen, but you're supposed to feel good about it too. You're supposed to believe that that's fair. That's kind of how narcissists feel when they are expected to be reciprocating, to be giving of their time and energy to other people, to be caring about others, because narcissists feel completely entitled to anything they want. And when they have to give their time and energy to someone else, they feel like they're being robbed. When they're not number one, when they're not the only thing that matters, when they can't have everything the way they want when they want it, they feel like somebody's taking it away from them. And you're trying to tell them, hey, that's just the way it is. That's life. Get over it. Well, you're right, that's life, and you're being rational and reasonable, but narcissists aren't rational and reasonable. This is their reality. That is how they feel. When you're trying to present an idea that's just normal, just basic human decency, to them, it feels like highway robbery. And you're not going to be able to change that perception for them. They don't change because they don't want to change and they don't understand why they should. They do not believe that they are the one with the problem. They think everyone else is the one with the problem and that they are the only sane person in the world. So it's not that they can't change, it's that they won't. And it's kind of like asking you, could you amputate your leg? Well, yeah, you could, but why would you? Why would you want to do that? So it's not that you can't do it, it's that you absolutely won't. You'd have to have a very, very good reason. The idea makes no sense and it would hurt very much. And if somebody came along and was confused as to why you didn't want to amputate your leg, you would just think they were crazy. This is pretty much the same thing as when we wonder about whether or not a narcissist can change, whether or not they can give up their thought patterns, the way that they interpret their emotions, their unreasonable expectations, their entitlement, the way they exploit people. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess they could, but why would they? They'd have to have a very, very compelling reason to do so. They have to hit rock bottom. They have to really believe that there's no other choice and that the coping mechanisms that they've been using all of their life are just not going to work for them anymore. There is nothing that you can say to them that's going to convince them that they are in that spot. They have to arrive there organically. And if they do, I don't think that any of the relationships that they've already destroyed are really going to be able to be salvaged. So if you're really wondering, can a narcissist change? Is it possible? I would challenge you to really think about exactly what you mean by that. What exactly is it that you would want the narcissist to change? I know that when I was in this frame of mind, if you really asked me to be very specific, I probably would have had a hard time, but I probably would have come up with something like, well, I would want the narcissist to stop being abusive, to be more patient, to not blame me for everything, and to realize that everything is not actually my fault, to realize that the expectations are unreasonable. But even if a narcissist realizes all this, even if a narcissist's behavior changes, they can't really change who they are. They can't stop being a narcissist. They can't stop seeing the world through the lens that is the only lens that they have. So if an abusive narcissist stops abusing you, which is probably never going to happen, but even if an abusive narcissist stopped abusing you, they would still want to. They would still feel the urge to, because they would continue to interpret reality through the same emotions that they've always felt. They would continue to believe the same things that they've always believed because they interpret reality based on how they feel about things. So they would have to keep stopping themselves and reminding themselves, oh, I can't do that. I can't act that way. I can't say that thing. But they would still feel the compulsion to do so. So why would you want to be with someone where the best case pie in the sky scenario is that they no longer abuse you, but they still want to? They're no longer yelling and screaming at you, but they still secretly believe that everything is your fault. They're still angry with you. They still blame you for everything, even if maybe they don't say it out loud. That's really the best you could ever hope for. And even that is so unlikely to happen that spending any time at all wondering if the narcissist can change is really time that you could be spending healing from this relationship. I know that we all have to go through certain stages of healing and certain stages of accepting certain things. So I'm not saying that if you are wondering whether or not a narcissist can change, that this is a huge waste of time and you need to move on from this. But I hope that this video can help you process this part of your healing a little bit and help you see that no, the narcissist really can't change. They might be able to change their behavior, which is already unlikely, but they really can't change who they are. And a narcissist really is not capable of a healthy, happy, loving relationship. That's something that's really never going to happen. And for all the things that I would assume, if you're watching this video, the narcissist has done to you, somebody like that is really not worth the time and energy that you might spend holding out little slivers of toxic hope that maybe there's a chance that maybe they might change a little bit, because even if they did, it still wouldn't be worth it. I hope this helps. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment below any ideas you have for me for future videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like this video and would like to see more like it in the future. Until next time, thanks. Bye.